Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming to my talk. My name is Brad Barker, and I work at Rikkyo University in Tokyo, Japan. And today I'm going to talk about a CLIL ecology course that I teach and two of its projects. The first project is a bioactive terrarium that I build together with students. And the second project is a campus walk where we go outside, take pictures, explore, and learn about the many interesting things living on our campus. Okay, let's get started. First, the context. This is Rikkyo University in Tokyo, Japan. It's a very urban campus, as you can see. However, there is a lot of green space. These are Rikkyo's iconic trees. They're Himalayan cedars right outside the main gates. There's a lot of lawn space and also more green space behind. It's a beautiful campus. It's a private university. We have about 20,000 students, and in 2024, we launched a new CLIL program. We started teaching several new CLIL courses, and all of the CLIL courses are electives, so it's mostly second, third, and fourth year students choosing to take additional language courses. So, out of a student body of 20,000, six very motivated and competent students joined my CLIL ecology course. They were very interested in the materials. They were very easy to manage as a group of six. I feel quite lucky to have a group like this. Um, the syllabus and course guidelines were somewhat flexible, so it did allow for both teacher and student agency. Most of the course was fairly conventional. We had an online course book and weekly quizzes and student final projects. And we used materials like this. This is the map of plants. And this was made not by us, but by a YouTuber in collaboration with a team of scientists from Kew Botanical Gardens in London. Beautiful material. So the projects. The first project was a bioactive terrarium, and the second was a campus walk. These were not in the syllabus or course guidelines. I chose to add them to the course as a way to make them come alive, make the subject and the material come alive for students. However, the campus walk was actually students' idea. Um, these are trial projects, so I didn't apply for permission to collect data from human participants. I don't have any conclusive data that shows that these are better for language learning, um, but I hope to study more, and they seem to be meaningful additions to the courses. I'd like to distinguish this from project learning. So as you know, project learning is very student-centered and student-managed. Usually students work in groups and they're making decisions for themselves. That's not these projects. These projects were mostly teacher managed. It's simply beyond the scope of a 14 lesson course to have students, building a terrarium, storing the terrarium, um, and doing maintenance, etc. Um, Here is a picture of the terrarium that we made in the classroom. So basically, each week, about in the middle of the lesson, we would take a break to build, observe, and talk about the terrarium. We did it step by step. So here's some preparation. We've added the substrate and plant materials and hardscape. Here's a picture. We added rainwater and some ornamentation. There's a chestnut, some acorns, just to make it look nice. Okay, completed terrarium. However, we continued adding things. This is a jewel orchid. This was quite expensive. It cost about 3,000 yen or 18 euro. This is the Inokitake mushrooms. This is the product. So this piece of wood has been inoculated with fungus mycelium. That's the powdery substance here. And we added it. We added some rainwater, and these little mushrooms came up after about a week. And they got bigger. It became a kinokorium at this point. Here's some more pictures. The mushrooms dropped billions of white snow-like spores into the terrarium. Um, this is a list of things we added. So there was a lot of life in here. A lot of these, most of these are terrarium classics, like Photonia, that's the red plant in the back. There's even animal life, these springtails. They're very small, not insects, but hexapods, uh, and their role is to decomposer. So they keep everything clean. They break down organic matter. Um, Materials. So a lot of the materials were free. For example, the rainwater and the chestnut and acorns found on campus. Some materials were very expensive, like the jewel orchid and the LED light. The total cost was about 40,000 yen to make this terrarium. Um, Teachers have a research budget that we can use at our university, and luckily I could use the research money for this project. Um, I wasn't sure exactly what I could buy. Most teachers and myself in the past had used it for computers and buying books and attending conferences. So, I went down there and I said, can I buy moss? Can I buy an LED light? Can I buy plants? And they said, yes, as long as you use it in the classroom, it should be okay. So it turns out at university, at our institution, you can buy almost anything as long as it's used in the classroom. However, I still wasn't sure. I went down there to try to get reimbursed for these materials. They were still kind of surprised that I have receipts for moss and springtails. However, as long as I demonstrated that this is used in the classroom and I showed them pictures and each item has a clear purpose, they were very accommodating, and I eventually got reimbursed. So, some informal observations. So, for this activity, the content and language were interwoven and emergent. There were no vocabulary lists or stated objectives or even clear ideas of what the outcome would be. For example, I did not know that it was possible to have mushrooms in a terrarium at the beginning of the semester. But during my subsequent research, I learned that some people were doing this, and I came across this product and bought it right away. I found that simply doing interesting things in the classroom with students was very beneficial, and the lessons were driven by students' natural curiosity and interest. They would often have questions and comments, unpredictable questions and comments as we're working on this project. Students seemed to love it. They often took pictures and posted about it. We built an artifact that continues to live even after the end of the course. We're going on 390 days. Students receive periodic updates, terrarium updates on my Instagram, and these students are still commenting and liking the posts and asking questions, even hundreds of days after the final lesson. I hope it maintains some kind of interest, student interest in the natural world, even after the course is finished. Now, the challenges. This took hours of extra work and research and um, finding out where to buy the specialized materials and then going and ordering them or going and buying them. It was perfectly in line with my natural interest in this content, so I loved it. I would do it again, although it did take a lot of extra time. Also, the terrarium was not always successful. So, for example, in the summertime, in my office, there was no air conditioner, just ventilation, and it was too hot. It got up to about 33 degrees, maybe more in the office. And even this tropical orchid here, it was too hot for the orchid. This expensive orchid died actually from the summer heat, from heat exhaustion, and it had to be replaced. It rebounded quite well after the summer temperatures cooled down. Um, it's looking much, much better now. So the campus walk, it arose from a student idea. In about week 5 of the course, I gave a very simple Google form to students as a questionnaire. What do you like about the class? How could we improve it and make it better? And a student said, "Can we go outside, possibly for a hike or go to the mountains?" I think they were suggesting. And unfortunately, no, I don't think the university would permit that. However, how about a campus walk? This was negotiated with students, although it was not in the syllabus at the beginning of the course. And then we scheduled it. We made a Google Slides document to record the results of the campus walk. For example, this slide here. And we found lots of interesting things. We found oyster mushrooms, and we recorded some things in the presenter notes under the picture, the scientific name, common names, and interesting information about uh, the organisms we found. We found a cicada shell. We used the map of plants to help us identify the things we found. For example, the cycad and the ginkgo biloba and epiphytic ferns and moss growing on trees. We found some mystery plants. I didn't know what this was. Students managed to identify it in class using some kind of app or technology. I'm still not sure what they used. These are the seed pods of Asiatic jasmine. So the campus walk added a sense of discovery. We found incredibly interesting things living right on our campus. It also reinforced classroom concepts and skills like plant identification, taxonomy, vocabulary. We discovered this mushroom right outside of Building 1 and the main gates. There were many of them. There's a little guy. This is the same mushroom, the same species, just a little one coming up. We knew this was some kind of Amanita mushroom. They're very distinctive, but not what species. So using a website called iNaturalist, we identified this to species. So I put out the suggestion, this may be Ibotenkutake, Amanita ibotenkutake, and an expert confirmed that yes, that's in fact what it is. So discovered is not the right word, but it felt like discovery at the time. We simply noticed this interesting mushroom living on campus, although it had probably been there for 100 years. It's an example of symbiosis. The mushroom can exchange nutrients and water with Rikkyo's iconic trees. It's a new species to science as of 2002. A team of Japanese scientists published this paper showing that it's distinct from Amanita pantherina. The mushrooms disappeared very quickly. They only come twice a year in the spring and the fall, and they were often just gone immediately. We weren't sure what was happening, but students discovered that the maintenance staff were actually sweeping up the mushrooms. Every day they cleaned the grass with these brooms, and they were cleaning the mushrooms along with the leaves and things. So they disappeared quickly. It became a game of finding the mushrooms before they were destroyed. And this is an example of emphasizing classroom concepts. So, for example, we read about and talked about mycorrhizal fungi, which exchange nutrients and water with associated plants. This is an example of mutualism. We found an example of parasitism right on campus. So I think this was really making the things real, making the concepts real, to go outside and look at real world examples. So, final thoughts. There's not much research about classroom terraria and campus walks or similar projects. I really think there's a lot of potential for these kind of projects to enhance natural science courses and student learning and also teacher learning. I learned an incredible amount by teaching this course and doing these projects. But there's a great need for more exploration and research. Here are my references. Thank you very much. Please reach out if you'd like. I'd love to hear from you if you have any questions or comments or would like any of the materials. Thank you.